Chest up, shoulders back. This is Revival Wrestling, everybody, where I have better wrestling takes than you, and you know it. And I probably also have better business acumen than AEW and Tony Khan. Now, a lot's happened, guys. I haven't published on this channel in a number of months. There's been some changes. Otherwise, things have been kind of steady. Wrestling's been, I guess, decent overall. There's been a lot of repetitive and redundant stuff. The good news is CM Punk is allegedly going to be returning in Survivor Series because, well, that's another great example of Tony Khan, how incompetent he is. I put up a tweet. You can follow me on Twitter at ChestHairGang for my sporadic wrestling takes. But Tony Khan is so inept that he rebuilt almost a decade-long burned bridge between Punk and WWE. Do you understand how talented Tony Khan is? Generational talent, as MJF would call himself. It takes so much skill to get a guy like Punk to go back to a place like WWE. And I am not 100% convinced it's going to happen, but I'd be surprised if it didn't really. I think he buried the hatchet with them. I think Punk really wants to stick it to AEW for just how incompetent it was whenever he was there. And I think Triple H and WWE ultimately want to do the same thing too. So I will probably do a live stream of Survivor Series, guys, on this channel. I don't know the exact day. I think it's sometime in November. But comment down below if you want to see that live stream, because Punk coming back to WWE would be a huge event. It was huge whenever he returned to AEW. And then he was gone for almost a year because of the backstage fight. Then he got into another backstage fight. Oh, man, dude. Bro, Punk is not the type of guy that is going to sit there and let incompetency, at least as he perceives it, happen. He's going to talk. He's going to get in people's faces. Dude, it's kind of crazy. Punk ended up leaving that company. He was pretty much the biggest draw, or one of the biggest draws they had. They made him a whole new show, Collision, Saturday nights. All this stuff they did for him and to get him there and everything. I'm sure he got paid a ton of money, too. He ended up leaving over scuffles with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and then Jack freaking Perry. A bunch of guys who were never going to draw an actual dime. And that's why Punk is gone. Again, that's whose side Tony Khan takes, because, a lot of those guys listed are executive vice presidents in the company, which is also terrifying. They're not qualified at all to do that. Tony Khan's not qualified at all to even book a wrestling promotion. He just, played with action figures as a kid. And he's got a bunch of money. He can sign everybody he wants, or at least that WWE doesn't have. I'll tell you what, AEW, man, they're the gift that just keeps on giving. Truly. There's 1 week Moxley's getting dropped on his head twice by Rey Fenix. And then the referee stops the count short because he knows he's not supposed to win, right? But he's like, oh, Moxley didn't kick out. Oh, but I stopped the count. And then Phoenix beats him. Moxley's half unconscious. And then this past show, Orange Cassidy, who lost the title to begin with, wins it back. And then Saraya loses it. She won it in London. Of course, Tony Khan loves the cheap hometown pop. That's all he's got in his arsenal. Shida wins it back off of Saraya after a 40-day reign. Dude, there's so much potential talent in AEW, and it's Tony Khan and the rest of these guys. They just squander so many opportunities. They just shoot themselves in the foot over and over and over. And that leads us on to this past Tuesday night, the much-anticipated Tuesday night war between NXT and Dynamite. Dynamite was moved to a different day, I think because of the baseball playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. I predicted that NXT was going to hit 1 million. I thought AEW was going to get about 800,000. It was less for both. NXT did not get 1 million. They got 921. And AEW barely got over 600K. So NXT, without question, clearly won. Now, they brought back Cena, the Undertaker. They really packed the show to kind of stick it to AEW. Is that desperate? I guess, but I don't think they care. I think these companies genuinely don't like each other at this point. And Tony Khan's behavior is a big reason. Tony Khan is extremely immature. You guys probably saw his Twitter meltdown he was having. He's replying to memes of Triple H and Shawn Michaels and stuff. Tony Khan is off the rails, man. Guys, we're at the point Tony Khan, he might have a legit meltdown on a live microphone. He might start name-dropping WWE guys and being this guy's an asshole and all this stuff. He might actually do that, man. I think he's getting close. Because I think reality's hitting for Tony Khan. This is not close. It never really was close between them and WWE. The AEW fans really wanted it to be for a long time. But dude, even with Cena and The Undertaker and all this other stuff, the developmental show getting way more viewers than your main show, even with the night change and everything, It's not good, man. The attendance numbers are way down. You guys can see the AEW. Just look at the pictures online, dude. The whole hard camera side is totally empty. A lot of bad storylines, a lot of incompetent storylines. For all WWE's faults, man, I mean, they're filling up arenas. They're starting to get some momentum going again. Punk coming back is a huge thing. So, I mean, AEW's in the mud, man. And when you have a guy like Tony Khan at the top, it's gonna just keep sinking further into the mud, you know what I mean? But that goes into the infamous quarter segment with Bullet Club Gold and MJF the other night. Now, this comment section will be fun, I'm sure, as you realize. Guys, I'm not going to go into any political or religious angles with this. They've been fighting over there for a long time. I don't pretend to know all the history and everything, okay? What I do know is that no sane company would allow that on TV given the current circumstances. And you guys know me, I'm not one of these politically correct woke people. I'm not one of these virtue signal, oh, this is, I'm not going to feign outrage like a lot of people. Some people are like, oh, that's a literal hate crime. No, it's not, dude, okay? Here's the thing, though, guys. You need to understand the environment and the circumstance, okay? So I see a lot of people on Twitter, they're like, why is this bad? And you're like, dude, just the image itself. I mean, yeah, dude, you can see this on TMZ, Variety, one of those major Hollywood publications covered it. I mean, that's the type of PR you get whenever you do this type of thing, man. And the AEW fans are trying to defend this. And that's a whole nother thing, dude. Bro, we live in the social media outrage culture. People see one picture, one headline, they make up their entire mind. You have to understand that's what it is. So you'll see stuff on TMZ, it's like AEW slammed for anti-Semitic angle. Bro, you could be the most open anti-Semite on planet Earth and you could be like, that was not good PR. I saw that when I was at the gym the other night, and my first response was like, oh, wow. I was like, they did that right now, given everything that's going on in the world? And all the AEW fans will be like, oh, but WWE did blackface in the 90s, and DX used to, pull down their... It's like, bro, dude, AEW marks are hilarious, man. All they do, we're better than WWE, F the Fed, all this stuff, and all they do is compare themselves to WWE. Well, did you know 30 years ago WWE did a sexist... It's like, bro, that was 30 years ago, man. Bro, aren't you guys supposed to be the better company, and then all you do as a reference point is WWE, 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 and all they do is sign their washed-up ex-guys? I mean, dude, the AEW marks are out of their minds, bro. I guess it's fitting why they love Tony Khan so much, because he's also insane. I guess it kind of takes one to know one and appreciate one type of thing. But, look, man, that is the lasting image of that segment. And I get it, right? MJF did the thing with Punk whenever allegedly he was a kid and they threw quarters at him and made fun of him for being Jewish. And part of Juice Robinson's act, he's part of Bullet Club, is that he gets a roll of quarters and he punches people and he breaks their jaw, right? So he was like, hey, Max, here's the roll of quarters with your name on it. But again, you have to understand the context and the situation we live in now. The image of that segment that everyone's going to see, even people that don't watch wrestling anymore, is going to be a roll of quarters with the Jewish name on it, right? Friedman. That's all they're going to see. And that's all they're going to base their opinion on, which is not right, but that's what it is, guys. You have to know this type of stuff. I mean, this is basic business 101 in the modern era. Even if you're not a politically correct guy, okay, you have to just understand this type of stuff. I mean, dude, this is such basic, business and understanding social media and the media in general and all this other stuff. I mean, even going beyond that, dude, bro, the head of Warner Brothers, which runs TBS and TNT and stuff, he's Jewish. There's all kinds of Jewish executives in the media and, the entertainment industry, all this other stuff. The fact that this got on TV blows my mind, dude. Right? Dude, this, again, I was just roasting Tony Khan. It all goes back to AEW's management, or really lack thereof management. Bro, did nobody see this backstage? Did not one agent or producer or even Tony Khan himself be like, hey, what are you guys doing tonight? They're like, oh, we're going to show the roll of quarters with Friedman. Like, oh, no, don't do that. No, I mean, I get it, but no, not right now, man. That's too much heat, right? Bro, all Tony Khan does is try to get, cheap eyeballs, all this publicity. He finally got a lot of publicity, and they got completely smashed in the ratings and anti-Semitic angle. That's what AEW is going to be known for coming out of this recent Tuesday night. All because they're ran by an incompetent man-child who refuses to hire actual, writers and other bookers and people that can actually take charge backstage. So once again, dude, regardless of what you think about the exact situation, anybody can admit this is not good public relations. And that's one of the funniest things too, man, because a huge segment of AEW's fans, their hardcore fans, are really progressive type people. You know what I mean? You can see their Twitter accounts, all this other stuff. Like, these are the type of people that are outraged by all kinds of stuff all the time. And then this happens and they're like, why is everyone upset? It's like, dude, you can't play dumb now. You understand why. Oh, well, MJF probably gave the okay. He gave the nod. He probably told them to do it. Bro, MJF is not an executive of the company. Dude, even if he's the world champion, I mean, dude, MJF is what, like my age? He's what, like 27 years old? Dude, MJF has no authority over that, or he shouldn't. Once again, it goes right back to Tony Khan. Oh, but our champion, Max, who's Jewish, said it was okay. It's like, that doesn't mean anything, bro. Like, you don't have a committee that can talk about this type of stuff, or some other person in management. Like, did the Young Bucks, like, oh, okay, sure. Like, dude, it just, this company from the top down is just so poorly ran, dude. I mean, just, bro, just the moments never end with AEW, man. It's like I've said before, guys, I have a video about Tony Khan. I'll put it in the pinned comment below I made a while ago. But AEW is going to fail with him at the helm. I mean, I don't know how much of his dad's money he can burn, but I'm sure they're losing a ton of money. Low attendance, the video game they put a ton of money into, all these jobbers they have on big contracts. Like, it, dude, it's just, it's like the amount of money Tony Khan could be putting into other things, like more productive things than all these losers that he employs, is kind of sad, really. But, man, AEW is just the gift that keeps on giving. And we're going to see how much worse it gets. I think it's going to get a lot worse.